Welcome to the presentation of the Glen More II Chronicles. Today we open Chronicle number 8, the Penny Mobs. Our guest designer, Arve D. Fühler, whom you know from games like Festo, El Gaucho and Take, brought the crime to the Highlands. The Penny Mobs was probably the most difficult to design chronicle because it references all other chronicles, so they all needed to be complete before we could commence work on the Penny Mobs. These criminals, these Penny Mobs, they influence the mechanisms of the previous chronicles that you already played. It's not an easy to play chronicle and it adds at least 10 minutes of playtime to the game. If you don't know the base game of Glen More II Chronicles, here are the rules in under 60 seconds. It's always the turn of the last player on the rondel to take a tile. The further the player moves, the longer he might have to wait until his turn is up again. The player places the tile he has taken on his territory and activates the new tile and all adjacent tiles. You use this to produce whiskey and resources, to take possession of landmarks and to move your Scots, besides which you are only allowed to place new tiles. Many tiles produce victory points by trading resources. If you are in short supply or have plenty of resources, you can use the market. If a player takes a person tile, he can trigger a one-time or permanent effect on the clan board. After each of 4 rounds, there's a rating, where each player measures his difference to the last player in 4 categories. Number of persons, whiskey barrels, landmarks and Scots in the home castle. A difference of 1 will earn you 1 point. A difference of 5 will earn you 8 points. At the end of the game, the territory size of each player's territory is compared to the smallest territory, and you lose 3 victory points for each tile that your territory is bigger. For the full explanation, watch our video here on the channel. Who were the Penny Mobs? Penny Mobs was the name under which the press described the early street gangs that were active in the early 1870s in Glasgow, Scotland. Since the court system offered high fines as an alternative to imprisonment, gang members were often freed from their gang after a collection for penny per capita and thus given their name. Some of them fled to the Highlands, at least that's what we claim. Depending on the number of players and the chronicles used, a number of the penny mobsters supplied are put in prison at the start of the game. These crooks come with powerful abilities, but at the end of the game they also bring many negative points, as you can see in the top left corner of each card. In addition, each player receives 7 pennies, each worth 1 negative point at the end of the game. Luckily, each turn you can place a penny on one of the mobsters, where the penny is turned to the back and is now worth 1 victory point. The player has 1 minus point less and the mobster gets 1 minus point cheaper because the player who decides to take the penny mobster, instead of surrendering a penny, takes the victory points on the penny mobster as well. He can now use the ability of the penny mobster. Let's have a look at some of them. Joe McDuff. You get the 3 Joe McDuff markers if you take Joe McDuff. In your future rounds you can use one of these markers to take the highest stack of coins from any market row. When you play with the Hammer of the Scots Chronicle, this includes the England market row as well. If you're playing the Dragon Boat races, then Callum McQuack can come onto your boat. Whenever you pass the boat of another player, or whenever another player boats passes you, give this player one of your -1 victory point pennies, as long as you own them. You're playing Address to a Haggis? Fraser loves haggis. Once per game during the haggis competition and before the dice are rolled, you steal 1 haggis token from a player of your choice. This player decides which haggis token to give you. You place the haggis token face down on your table. Elspeth McTrick changes the Highlanders rules, so that if the owner moves over the mountain, or before leaving the mountain, he may swap one of the resources or coins on the mountain with 1 resource from the supply. So there's at least 1 matching penny mobster for each other chronicle in the game. The world has become so bad. We hope you enjoy the penny mobsters.